Hi everyone and welcome to day 12 of OctHorrorFest. Today we are talking about Alien. And you may be wondering, what is this doing here? This is, as you can see, a painting of Sigourney Weaver as Ripley in Alien, and my wonderful boyfriend actually painted this, so I thought I would display it considering we're talking about Alien today. So I think I said in my intro that I watched Alien when I was about 13 for the first time. My dad showed it to me with Jaws when my mum and my sister were away. And since then it's kind of been one of my favourite films. It's kind of fighting for the top spot of my favourite film with Jurassic Park at the moment. Firstly, I think the film is a masterclass in practical effects, really. All these practical effects, again, like I've said, have stood the test of time, but it's also how much they show. So you very rarely see the xenomorph until the end. A lot of the time it's different parts of it that kind of merge into the ship, and honestly this is just so effective in firstly creating a kind of tension, but also just not giving away too much. Along with the practical effects, you actually don't see much. What you do see, the alien is shrouded in darkness, and when you see the kind of eggs, they're kind of in a really dark room with a kind of mist surrounding them. What I love about the egg chamber scene is how the kind of one egg that we're focused on, the light is shone through it, and again you can't really see what's inside, but again the practical effects are so good because again it's not too bright, but again I'm not downplaying the practical effects scene because it's still really great. But what I love about the egg scene is how it's lit, and you don't really see much, but when you see the main egg, the light's kind of shone through it, you see kind of movement of something, again creating this suspense because you can't quite make out what it is. And the xenomorph is, you know, quite the figure to behold, and you only see it really in its full form for a few fleeting shots at the end of the film. And this suspense that's created kind of puts you in the shoes of the crew because they don't know what it looks like in its full. I mean, I don't even think most of them have seen it by the time they get got by the alien. So the viewer is as much in the dark as the crew are. And one of my favourite aspects of the entire film is how the xenomorph is hidden in the ship, because the ship is designed so well to kind of mimic the alien that it can kind of hide in nooks and crannies, and you don't even notice it. Like, I didn't notice half the time where it was hidden the first time I watched it. Now that I know that it's kind of hidden in certain places, I'm constantly on the lookout. But it's this kind of camouflage that again puts you in the shoes of the crew because you have no idea where it was. It could be anywhere. Like, it could jump at you from above, behind, to your side, like anywhere. And it also kind of creates this idea that the xenomorph is kind of more like a mechanical being than a organic thing. Like, it's a machine built to survive, kill and breed. But this is then kind of more so explored in the second film, Aliens. That kind of marriage between the organic and mechanic is still present in this film. This works so well in the medical bay scene where Ripley, Dallas and Ash are trying to find the facehugger that has fallen off.
A few moments later.
Kane. There are so many kind of dangling objects from the ceiling that are a little bit squishy that could be the facehugger. Again, you're kind of constantly on the lookout and it's just silent. And it's not until Ripley screams that you actually realise that one of the dangling objects is a facehugger. And again, at the end, when the alien is a stowaway on the escape pod, you don't realise until the very last minute when it moves. And again, Ripley doesn't either. So both the audience and the characters are kind of in the dark together. As well as the amazing production design, the characters and the actors playing the characters are amazing. One of the things that stands out for me now is how natural the kind of crew seems together. You genuinely feel like they've known each other for years, and you kind of get to know them quite well without much kind of backstory. And I think this is such a rarity in sci-fi movies when there's a crew involved, because sometimes there is just a desperate attempt for the audience to get to know the crew members. I remember in Prometheus, they really tried, like really tried to get you to care about the crew, where you actually don't really. And it's actually quite sad to see the desperate attempt to make you feel something when the crew dies. In Alien, it doesn't really want you to feel sad that they die. I think what Alien wants to do is to scare you, more so put you in the shoes of the characters who are being hunted by the xenomorph, rather than feel sad that they die. The film treats everyone equally, that so many films even now struggle with, and I think it's such a direct contrast when you look at Aliens in comparison to Alien with Vasquez. There's just so many things in Aliens that draw upon, I guess, Ripley's femininity, Vasquez's lack of femininity and all that lot, whereas Alien it doesn't have any of that. Like, the fact that Ripley is second in command is amazing for, you know, a film that was released 40 years ago, and it's not made to be a big deal. I mean, she's pretty much respected by everyone, maybe not Ash, but he's a different kettle of fish altogether. But I actually find it quite refreshing to go back and watch it, even though it is like 40 years old. And speaking of Ellen Ripley, I could honestly talk about her character for a while. She is just generally a inspiration to me as a character. It's probably how she's treated in the film, which is well. She's a woman in power, she's a survivor, she's a mother. I just love her so much, and I think in Alien she is written very well. I will say in the films going ahead, it's interesting. There is more focus on her as a woman, which isn't a bad thing at all. In Alien, she is literally just a survivor. Like, she's a survivor not because anything to do with her being a woman, she's just a person, you know? And I think the themes that run through the film are very well executed. On the surface, it's kind of like an alien survival horror film, which is designed to scare you, which, you know, fundamentally it is. But there are kind of things that intertwine with that, which I find very interesting. When you think about it more, it kind of explores the violence of birth, of pregnancy, motherhood. So Aliens is and will continue to be one of my all-time favourite films. Again, it's kind of tying with Jurassic Park to be my favourite film of all time. It just has so many elements that I adore. It's horror, it's sci-fi, it's an amazing female lead. There's just so much about it that I just absolutely love. So that concludes me gushing about Alien. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to chat about Alien in the comments below, do just chat away. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Alien, if you didn't like it, because I actually have never heard anyone who didn't like it, so that could be quite interesting. Yeah, so don't forget to subscribe. I'm on Twitter and Instagram. I will leave the links below down there. And if you like this video and all the other stuff that I do, you can support me on Patreon for $2 a month, which is about £1.60. My patrons get early access to all my posts. There's crochet things, some letters, but you can all check that out and I'll put the link down below. I hope you enjoyed that video. I shall see you tomorrow when we talk about Train to Busan.